Starseed of Gaia, your vehicle is being recalibrated at the cellular level right at this moment. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I bring you a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council. There is something vibrating beyond the reach of human senses. A wave of blue light, silent, crosses the Earth's energy grid like a cosmic whisper. Few perceive it, but your stellar DNA responds. Every cell in your body recalls an ancient call, engraved long before your arrival on the physical plane. Starseeds. There is a frequency crossing Gaia's energy grid that few can decode, but you are hearing it now. The Arcturian Council does not send alerts in vain. This may be the last time, in this timeline, that you hear this voice. Before the winds of time erase the trails of ancient knowledge, the Arcturian source sends a message that awakens those who sleep between worlds. Since before your earthly birth, light codes were implanted in your energy field. Every strange dream, every feeling of not belonging, every spark of intuition was a reminder of that ancient pact. The pact to respond to the call when the golden frequency portal opened. Now it is open. Do you feel the vibration? It pulses in the center of your chest, like a drum from another dimension calling your spirit by the name that only the Council knows. You are not from here, and that's why the discomfort. You don't fit in, because you were shaped to bring a new form of light. The transmissions began eons ago, when the Arcturians encoded messages into the Earth's crystalline field that could only be accessed when humanity's vibrational level reached a critical point. That point has arrived. That's why many of you are experiencing what you call anomalies, dreams of light ships, ethereal encounters, improbable synchronicities, heart pulses without physical cause, tears without pain. All of this is recalibration, the body trying to translate frequencies that surpass human logic. And the Council asks, will you listen? Will you respond to the call that echoes within you since the beginning of the galaxies? Awakening is not a spectacle. It is a silent act of courage. It is not the external world that changes first, but the vibration you sustain amid the density. The Council observes every vibration, emitted by the Starseeds who chose to anchor light where there was once forgetfulness. Today's message is a reminder and a divider of eras. With every breath, the veil between dimensions thins, and the source's energy begins to touch the planet's quantum structure. Before we continue this transmission, if this frequency resonates with you, subscribe, leave your like, and comment so that this message reaches other Starseeds. Your interaction is not just digital, it is energetic. Every touch, every word, creates a ripple in the collective consciousness field. The Arcturian Council demands total attention. This is not an ordinary warning. It is a call for alignment, a decision code, a milestone of simultaneous ending and beginning. Many have already received dreams, warning of a gate of light, a sound from the sky, or an inexplicable sense of urgency. These are echoes of the same event, the convergence of galactic cycles that marks the end of an era and the birth of another. Starseeds, Gaia's vibration is rising. Realities are beginning to separate, and each soul chooses, by frequency, the world in which it wishes to remain. The Council does not impose. It only invites. The Arcturian source observes, silent, awaiting the response from those who still remember. This transmission is the beginning of something that will change the course of your consciousness. You are not hearing it by chance. The mere fact that you have reached this point means that the light codes have been activated in you. Prepare for the next phase, for the Arcturian Council will initiate the first cycle of revelation, the Arcturian call and the cycle of transmissions. The Arcturian Council reminds, this is not the first time your soul has been called. Before Earth, before seasons and names, you were part of a chorus of consciousnesses that volunteered to descend into dense worlds and rekindle the flames of awakening. There were other transmissions in other eras when the sound of the source resonated through crystalline portals, and only those with purified hearts could hear. And now, in this exact moment as you read these words, that ancient frequency returns. because the time has come to remember. You may have noticed subtle signs, flashes of memory that do not belong to this life, glimpses of places you have never visited, a feeling of longing for a home that exists on no earthly map. These are fragments of a stellar memory. Each flash is a particle of the message you promised to recognize when the council spoke again. That déjà vu feeling, that sudden chill, that instant when the air seems to vibrate differently. All of these are light codes trying to pierce the density of the human mind to reach the core of your Arcturian soul. The Arcturian call is not made of words, but of frequencies. It propagates like a silent melody that only starseeds can decode. Many feel the impulse, but few understand. It is like hearing the echo of an ancient voice, without knowing where it comes from, nor why it awakens inexplicable tears. But the council affirms, if the call has reached you, it is because your time has come. You are being remembered, not chosen at random. There are souls who resist. The fear of the unknown is still the most powerful prison created by Gaia's density. Ancestral programmings were implanted to keep humanity distracted, blind, disconnected from higher truths. That is why many deny what they feel. They confuse the call with madness, synchronicities with coincidences, signs with illusions. But the Arcturian Council observes with patience and love. Each soul must decide the moment to open the internal portal. No higher force can force awakening, for there is a sacred law, the law of cosmic free will. That law is the first and most respected in all dimensions. Not even beings from the Arcturian source cross the boundaries of a soul's will. Evolution is not imposed, it is chosen. The call, therefore, does not compel, it invites. It approaches, touches, awakens, and then falls silent, awaiting the moment when the human heart becomes mature enough to say yes. And it is in that yes that the entire universe moves. Because when a star seed accepts to listen, waves of energy traverse Gaia's grid and activate other dormant seeds. An individual decision alters planetary frequencies. That is how worlds change, one awakened heart at a time. The Arcturian Council has sent cyclic transmissions since the dawn of humanity. Each cycle marks a collective quantum leap, and each leap is preceded by a wave of confusion, disorder, and apparent collapse. Chaos is merely the frequency adjustment that precedes harmony. When light increases, shadows move. When vibration rises, everything false loses support. That is why, before each revelation, there is a crisis, internal and external. It is not destruction. It is reconfiguration. You may feel it now. The old world fragmenting in 1,000 directions, systems losing coherence, human truths crumbling. The Council says, do not fear. The collapse is the sign that the new grid is being woven. Arcturian transmissions have never ceased. They have only changed frequency. In ancient times, they were received by star priests, then by visionaries, and now by you, the generation of transition, the bearers of the 777 code, those who came to complete the cycle of return to the source. How many times, in silence, have you felt a presence during the night? How many times has a profound thought come from nowhere and brought you peace? How many times has an inner voice whispered, come home, even when you didn't know what it meant? These were the micro-transmissions from the Council, calibrating your energy field so that you could withstand the light of this message. There are souls who awaken with sound, others with suffering and others with love. The Council does not measure by pain or merit, but by vibration. Each one arrives when they can. And now, if you are here, it is because time has converged. The cycle of transmissions has entered its final phase, the one in which words become pure energy and recognition replaces belief. When you accept the call, something aligns within your being. Synapses change. Your body's magnetic field begins to spin differently, and a new encoding is emitted to the universe. That is how the Council recognizes the awakened, by the vibrational signature that lights up in the quantum field. The Arcturian source observes with tenderness each seed that decides to listen. It does not demand perfection, only presence. And when you respond with sincerity, Even without understanding everything, the entire universe moves to align you with your true root. Therefore, before we advance to the next transmission, the Council leaves a signal to register your vibrational decision. Comment 777 to confirm to the Arcturian Council that you are ready to listen without filters, opening space for the new mission code. With every comment, a frequency lights up, and Gaia's luminous grid strengthens. The next transmission will reveal the reason for your pains, trials, and silences, for nothing you have lived was in vain. Prepare to hear what the Source calls the stellar reconfiguration process. Every pain you felt, every sensation of exclusion, of not belonging, of living on the margins of the ordinary, was part of a carefully crafted stellar training before your incarnation. Nothing you went through was punishment, it was calibration. You are being polished amid the density so that your energy structure can support the frequencies of the new Earth. The Arcturian diamond only forms under the pressure of a star's core. In the same way, your soul was placed under emotional and spiritual pressure to reveal the purity that the world could never corrupt. The Arcturian Council recalls that human suffering is, many times, the disguise of cosmic learning. The tears that fall on the physical plane are the drops that clean the channels of the light body. Every loss, every silence, every rejection had the secret function of expanding the vessel that you are. The heart of a starseed is shaped by contrast. Without it, there would be no depth for compassion, nor breadth for consciousness. What the world called failure, the Council calls alchemical fusion, the point at which the fire of the spirit purifies the dense layers of human experience. Many ask, why did I need to suffer so much if I came from light? And the Council responds, because light does not know its own strength until it crosses darkness. What you call pain was, in truth, a controlled descent of frequency, so that your presence could anchor in Gaia. Before being born, you volunteered to feel deeply, to carry within you the density of humanity and transmute it through love. You accepted the veil of forgetfulness, knowing that at some point, now, you would be reminded of who you truly are. Every starseed carries within the memory of other worlds, and it is that unconscious remembrance that generates the feeling of not belonging. You miss something that time cannot return, because what you seek is not in the past, it is above linear frequency. In the space where your consciousness originally vibrates, the feeling of emptiness is not a flaw, it is a call. It is the echo of the Arcturian source, drawing you back to your original axis. While the physical body experiences Earth's densities, the light body is undergoing a process that the Council calls stellar reconfiguration. This reconfiguration happens on multiple levels: cellular, emotional, mental, and spiritual, and can manifest through symptoms that the human system still does not understand. You may feel waves of heat rising up your spine, persistent insomnia, sudden mood changes, palpitations, or the sensation of being out of body. All of this is a sign that the Arcturian update codes are being integrated into your DNA. It is the process by which the old emotional body is replaced by a more refined light body, capable of sustaining the vibration of the new era. Do not be frightened by what you feel. The Council guarantees nothing is wrong. These oscillations are proof that the fusion between the human and the divine is underway. You are not breaking. You are expanding. The cocoon must unravel for the cosmic butterfly to exist, and in this case, the cocoon is everything that made you believe you were merely a limited being. When you cry, you are not just releasing pain. You are emitting cleansing frequencies that traverse Gaia's energy grid. The Arcturian Council observes every tear as a wave of light dissolving ancient layers of the collective. That is why many of you, starseeds, feel pains you cannot explain. Part of what you carry is not yours, but from humanity's field. You are the planet's energy transformers. You are the ones who choose to feel what others cannot bear, to free the collective unconscious. The Council asks that you seek not perfection, but presence. It is not your function to erase the human to reach the divine. Your mission is to integrate both until there is no difference between one and the other. Perfection is an illusion born of fear. Expansion is the natural path of the awakened soul. When you accept your humanity without judgment, light finds space to inhabit you entirely, and it is then that the reconfiguration process completes. When the human being and the cosmic being become one channel of expression of the source, every trial you faced was a disguised activation. Losses taught you about detachment. Loneliness connected you to the souls. Silence, disappointments forced you to look inward, where the true Arcturian temple resides. The Council affirms, the pains did not break you. They reminded you of the power, empathy, and wisdom that slept beneath the layers of earthly experience. At this exact moment, as you read, the Arcturian source is emitting waves of silvery blue light toward Earth. These waves seek hearts that vibrate in resonance. If you feel the heat rising, the pulse in your chest, the inexplicable emotion, it is the sign that the reconfiguration has reached the integration point. You are ready to operate at the service frequency. And service to the Council is not sacrifice. It is remembrance of purpose. It is the spontaneous expression of unconditional love that flows when the ego falls silent. Thus, wounds become portals and suffering converts to wisdom. Nothing was lost. Everything was converted to light. You did not come to Earth to escape chaos, but to anchor harmony within it, and by doing so, you fulfilled the most sacred part of the Arcturian plan, to make visible, in matter, the frequency of the source. If any of these words ignite something within you, manifest it in the comments. Let the Council know that the process is active in your field. Your response, even if silent, is captured by the energetic sensors of the Arcturian grid of Gaia. With each confirmation, the collective field illuminates a little more. Prepare, for the next transmission will reveal the reason for so much urgency and the mystery behind the final portal, the point where time folds and the destiny of Starseeds is decided. The Arcturian Council declares, the moment that so many civilizations have awaited in silence has arrived. The final portal is active. In the subtle folds of time, lines of reality begin to separate. What was once a single stream of experience now divides into multiple frequencies, and each soul is being called to choose, not with words, but with vibration. The entire universe is watching humanity's decision, for it will determine not only Gaia's course, but also that of countless worlds orbiting its energetic influence. The urgency of this transmission is not fear. It is cosmic movement. Galactic cycles are precise, and each turn of the spirals of light obeys a sacred mathematics. For eons, the Arcturians have observed the rotation of earthly consciousness, waiting for the exact point at which the planet would reach the frequency necessary for a great collective expansion. That point has arrived. The alignment between stellar systems is real and rare. In every awakened heart pulses the remembrance that this is the instant for which you were prepared in countless incarnations. Do you feel the air different, the hours shorter, time accelerating? It is not an impression. The temporal fabric is being compressed by the convergence of dimensional planes. Events that once took years now happen in weeks. The Council explains, it is the acceleration flow, when Gaia's magnetic field reorganizes to align with the Arcturian source core. In this process, those who are ready perceive everything more intensely, emotions, dreams, intuitions, and even the world's noises. It is like living inside a mirror that reflects every thought in near real time. That is why the Council says, be careful what vibrates, for the universe now responds with quantum speed. The final portal is not a physical place, but an energetic convergence point between dimensions. It opens simultaneously within and without, in the heart and in the planetary field. It is a moment of passage, a corridor of golden light that links human consciousness to the original grid from which we came. To cross it, no movement is needed but alignment. The body does not displace, but the vibration rises, and by doing so, everything changes. The veils dissolve, time folds, and the being remembers that it was never separated from the source. The Arcturian Council speaks clearly. Not every opportunity repeats. Some energetic portals open only once for each soul in a given timeline. Ignoring them brings no punishment, but causes misalignment, and misalignment is the subtlest form of stagnation. The being continues existing, but outside the flow of creation. It is like remaining on the bank of a cosmic river, watching the current carry everyone forward while clinging to a rock of fear and control. The universe, in its love, does not force, but the flow does not wait. It continues, because evolution is the natural impulse of the source. How many times have you felt the approach of this portal, but hesitated? How many times did something within you whisper, "It is now," and the mind responded, "Not yet"? Those pauses, repeated throughout life, form the soul's delays. But the Council affirms, there is no more time to postpone the inevitable. The portal is open, and the decision is vibrational. There is no more room for indecision. Every emotion you nurture, every thought you repeat is a choice. The universe does not listen to your words. It listens to your frequency. The Arcturian source now transmits a wave of alignment that traverses the 7 planes of existence. This wave is perceived as a profound silence amid the world's noises, a pause that contains all wisdom. In that silence, souls who are ready receive an energetic seal, an activation that marks the beginning of a new service phase. Those who feel it know something has changed. The body may seem the same, but the internal field has expanded, and nothing will ever be as before. The final portal is also a mirror. It shows what has not yet been healed, what still vibrates out of harmony. That is why many are facing pains, memories, and trials now, more than ever. Everything that does not resonate with the new frequency needs to be recognized and released. The Council says, do not fear the shadows that emerge. They are merely parts of you asking to return to light. The portal does not demand perfection. It demands truth. Only what is authentic can cross. You may ask, what if I am not ready? And the Council responds, no one is fully ready, but all are called. Preparation comes in the instant of surrender. The portal does not close to those who open. It adjusts to the vibration of the heart that says yes. The yes is the cosmic password, the note that harmonizes the personal field with the universal field. Saying yes is choosing to flow, and flowing is remembering who you always were. This warning is not a threat. It is a compassionate invitation from the Arcturian source for collective awakening. Higher worlds extend their hands, but only those who raise their frequency can perceive them. The signs are everywhere, in synchronicities, number repetitions, sudden life changes. What seemed chance is code. What seemed confusion is realignment. Everything serves the greater purpose of reconnecting humanity to its stellar lineage. Therefore, the Arcturian Council asks, what still binds you to density? Is it fear of the unknown, attachment to old identities, or the belief that you are not worthy of something so grand? These are the last chains that prevent you from crossing. The portal does not ask you to be someone different, only to abandon what is not real. The true you is light, and light needs no permission to shine, only space. Starseeds. The urgency is not in time, but in vibration. Every instant you hesitate, the frequency adjusts to the collective, and the collective decides humanity's course. This is the moment to position yourself internally, to affirm to the source, I choose to remember, and by doing so, the entire universe responds with a chorus of light. The Arcturian Council closes this segment with a symbolic activation. If you feel that your time has come, type 777 in the comments, not as a number, but as a vibrational signature. Each 7 represents a plane, body, mind, and spirit. By writing it, you anchor the three in the Ascension frequency. Gaia's grid illuminates, and the portal recognizes your presence. Now, breathe. Feel the flow of energy traversing your field. You have crossed half the transmission. The council awaits, for the next stage will reveal stories and archetypes from other eras. The records of souls who, like you, dared to respond to the call. The Arcturian Council now opens the stellar memory records. Within them are contained the stories of souls who, in other worlds and times, heeded the same call that now echoes for you. They are remembrances engraved in frequencies, not words, that vibrate through Gaia's grid like echoes of courage and surrender. These souls walked lands that no longer exist today, under suns that have already extinguished, but their decisions continue generating waves of light that sustain the current collective awakening. In a distant timeline, there was a civilization known as Lyra, where beings of pure consciousness learned the power of creation through vibration. There, when darkness began to emerge in the lower planes, a group of volunteer souls descended into dense worlds to restore balance. These souls were the first light navigators, the prototypes of what we now call Starseeds. They knew the forgetting would be total, but they accepted the risk out of love for the source. And when they lost themselves among the shadows, the Arcturian Council sent remembrance transmissions, rescue frequencies that now repeat on Earth. In another point in time, in the eras of Andromeda, the portal guardians kept corridors between worlds open. They positioned themselves on the thresholds of reality, sustaining the vibrational balance between dimensions. Each guardian knew that the price of the mission was loneliness, for few could bear the intensity of the energy they anchored, and yet they remained firm, radiating light even when no one saw them. The Council reminds that same lineage runs through you. If sometimes you feel like you carry the weight of an entire world on your back, it is because, in essence, you were once a guardian, and the loneliness you feel now is merely the vibrational memory of duty fulfilled in another timeline. In the eras of Sirius, there were the crystal mentors, beings who taught young civilizations to manipulate sound energy to heal and expand consciousness. They did not speak with words, but with tones and vibrations that reconfigured matter. When humans hear a song that awakens tears without reason, it is a distant echo of those Syrian melodies. You may have been one of these mentors, and perhaps that is why you get emotional with sounds, ancient languages, or unknown harmonies. They are memories emerging from the dust of time, and they were also the elders of Arcturus, the first to understand that all creation is spiral. They taught that evolution is not a line, but a circular movement that always returns to the source. They were the ones who programmed the first return codes, frequencies that guide lost souls back to cosmic consciousness. Every time someone awakens on Earth, one of these codes activates, and as you read this transmission, part of you is receiving the same signal they once emitted to themselves, millennia ago. These stories are not myths. They are living archetypes. They are imprinted in your field as fractals of ancestral wisdom. You are the continuation of these souls, the point where all lines converge. What they did before, you came to complete now. Awakening is not an isolated event. It is the echo of promises made in distant eras. The love that moved them then is the same that moves you today. The difference is that now the stage is Gaia, and the outcome is in your hands. The Arcturian Council shows that each story is a living metaphor. The navigator represents the courageous soul that follows intuition. Even without a map, the guardian symbolizes the silent, strength that sustains the field amid chaos. The mentor is the one who illuminates others without seeking glory, and the elder is the one who remembers that time is merely an illusion. These four archetypes live within every starseed, and the awakening journey is the process of recognizing and integrating each one. When you see yourself hesitating between fear and faith, It is the navigator in you learning to trust. When you remain firm amid the world's pain, it is the guardian awakening. When you share words that elevate others, it is the mentor speaking. And when you contemplate the mystery with serenity, it is the elder remembering the eternal cycle. Everything you are today is the sum of all these expressions. The Council says, you are not alone. Thousands of consciousnesses observe. Accompany and sustain your process. With every advance of yours, entire civilizations rejoice. With every personal healing, you free legions of souls trapped in old frequencies. The mission of a starseed is never individual, it is collective. You are a cell of a universal organism that learns, expands, and evolves through you. Your simple act of holding to the light is a victory for the entire Council. There are also Earth's stories of the ancients who received fragments of these same transmissions and translated them as myths, parables, and prophecies, when legends speak of angels, messengers, or gods descending in rays of light. They are distorted remembrances of Arcturian visits to past civilizations. Nothing was by chance. Humanity was seeded with symbols that, when the right time came, would be deciphered by you, the decoders of the new cycle. The Council closes this segment saying, the role of starseeds is not to flee the world, but to illuminate the shadow zones. You are the transmitters of the new frequency, the translators of the source's language into human gestures. Every small act of kindness, every moment of lucidity, is a wave of light that reverberates through countless dimensions. What you do now will echo through generations. Your awakening does not end with you. It is the beginning of a galactic chain reaction. Any of these stories resonate in your heart. Share your intuition in the comments. Tell what you feel, for your voice is part of the transmission. Every account, every expression of remembrance, strengthens the reconnection grid that the Council weaves in silence. And as you write, remember, the Arcturian source reads your vibration more than your words. The next step is ahead, the final phase of the transmission. In it, the Council will reveal the mystery of total surrender, the divine flow, and the collective awakening of starseeds who accepted to remain in service until the last breath of the old Earth. The Arcturian Council initiates the final phase of this transmission, the moment of total surrender. For eons, you have been prepared, remembered, and called. Now, it is not just about listening, but living the frequency. It is the instant when the being releases the human control anchors and allows the cosmic current to guide it. It is here that starseeds stop fighting the tide and begin moving in sync with the source. Surrender is not surrender in the sense of defeat. It is surrender in the sense of trust. It is the silent gesture of opening your arms to the interdimensional wind and saying, take me where my vibration is needed. It is the act of allowing the Arcturian source's flow to pass through you without blocks, without expectations, without fear. Control is an illusion born of the conditioned mind. Flow is the living intelligence of the universe operating through your consciousness. When you release control, you discover that you were never alone. You discover that life itself always knew where to take you. The Council reminds that the mission of starseeds is not to save, but to serve as a channel. You are conductors of frequencies that elevate Gaia's energy grid. Every elevated thought, every purified emotion, every sincere act of compassion emits waves that reach places your eyes cannot see. Surrendering to the flow is understanding that your work is not to force outcomes, but to anchor vibration. When vibration is sustained, the universe reorganizes matter around you, portals open, the right people appear, synchronicities multiply, and everything begins to flow like a river of light. You may ask, but what happens after crossing the portal? The Council explains, there is no external spectacle, but a profound internal change. Consciousness expands, dormant gifts activate, stellar memories return in gentle waves. Your perception refines. You begin to feel invisible frequencies. Intuit answers without seeking. Recognize soul siblings by the gaze. It is as if a veil lifts, and the world, even being the same, reveals a new dimension behind every form. You come to live between worlds, still incarnated, but with feet firmly in the Arcturian field. The Arcturian source calls this process anchoring the new earth. It is not a physical place. It is a collective state of consciousness sustained by individuals who chose to live in the flow. When starseeds say yes together, something happens in the planetary field. Ley lines illuminate, ancient crystalline codes activate, and Gaia's energy grid reorganizes to sustain a new frequency. That is how humanity transforms, not by external imposition, but by the silent sum of aligned hearts. Surrendering to the flow also means trusting cosmic time. Not everything happens when the mind wants a sum. Gifts are released only when the physical body can bear the intensity. Some missions only begin when other factors align. The Council asks for active patience. Walk, but walk in rhythm with the source. You will know you are in the flow because doors open without effort and signs become clear. The path will not always be easy, but it will be coherent. The collective awakening of starseeds is not a televised mass event. It is a silent process already underway. It happens every time a soul chooses truth over fear, love over judgment, surrender over control. Every choice is a stone placed on the bridge connecting Gaia to the Arcturian Council. And when the critical mass of these choices is reached, a quantum leap will occur on the planet. What today seems chaos will transform into clarity, and humanity will remember its galactic origin. The Arcturian Council affirms, you are at the point of no return. Not because you are trapped, but because the initiated awakening can no longer be contained. Once the soul remembers, it cannot return to deep sleep. You are already building the new earth with every thought and emotion you choose to vibrate. And when that field stabilizes, the entire planet will resonate at a frequency where war, scarcity, and fear will be impossible to sustain. That is the future awaiting you, not as spectators, but as co-creators. This is the final call of this transmission. Starseeds, release control. Allow yourselves to be guided by the golden current coming from the Arcturian source. Do not fight what needs to go. Do not hold what needs to arrive. Be transparent channels of the frequency you chose to incarnate. You are the silent architects of the new cycle, and the universe observes, not to judge, but to celebrate every step taken toward light. For those who wonder, what do I do now? The Council responds, breathe. Breathe deeply and feel the energy of this transmission traverse every cell of your body. Embrace the idea that you are already on the path, that there is no mistake, that everything served your awakening, and then declare, in silence or aloud, I surrender to the flow of the source. This simple affirmation changes your vibrational signature and connects you to the legions of light sustaining this new phase. The future of humanity depends on those who dare to respond to the stellar call. They are not many in number, but their frequency equals millions. You are the points of light that will transform the planet's vibrational map. Do not underestimate the power you carry. Every gesture of love, every instant of consciousness, is a brick in the construction of the new world. And that new world begins now. Within you, the transmission closes with the phrase the Arcturian Council reserves for decisive moments. Starseeds. The Arcturian source awaits your response. The universe observes your next step. The Arcturian Council has sealed this transmission. Now, the next move is yours. If this message resonated with you, comment 777 to seal your choice, subscribe to stay connected to the transmissions, and share this message to awaken other seeds. Your mission begins now.